Now in the group, I've tried hard to make it as engaging as I can. So I do stuff like even I pick themes from the book, and the book is based in Kauai, Hawaii. So we had like drinks from Kauai recipes and word searches about Hawaiian words, and anything that we have color pages about Hawaii, and he talks about coffee in the book, and we had links to where you can have a coffee recipe for Hawaii. So yeah, anything that I could do, and there's 3 locations in the book, so I was working those in and continue to do that, by the way. And then we do the live show every Thursday, the two of us. And it's funny because now we've done those and a bunch of interviews, and we happen to be funny together. That was a random thing that happened. People call us George and Gracie. So, right, because we're funny together. But I think what I told him about the strategy is we need to share parts of ourselves so that everyone feels we're doing this together. And I said, you don't have to say stuff that's too personal, but you want to share things like I've done lists with our favorite songs. And I
Yeah.
did a Spotify playlist for each of our favorite songs, and then we combined them and let people to try to decide whose were whose. And then we had our favorite, I think we did our favorite nonfiction books and our favorite fiction book, just little pieces of ourself out there. And then during the show we do on Thursday nights, when something was funny and hit a little bit, I made sure I played it up as much as I could.
Tell us
So
about Conway.
yeah, right. That's what I was
We're
gonna
going to
go.
know about
Right.
Conway.
So
Acquiring minds.
on one show, I don't even know how we started talking about it,
He
but
wasn't Jeff complaining about the squirrels stealing
that's
the
just for,
food out of
yeah,
his bird feeders?
I think so. I think that was it. And he told the story about the squirrel eating his bird feed, and he was so funny telling it that I clipped that out, and I was putting that around. And then we all started, he calls it squirrel bullying. But, but people in the community started putting up squirrel memes and sending them a squirrel picnic table, and everybody's doing the little squirrel thing. Still, we're all doing the little squirrel thing, and we pick these little things to tease him about, and it's fun because it gets people engaged, and it's just something we that people look forward to us like bantering about on the show, I think, because I always, yeah, and I named the squirrel Conway because of another joke he told about Conway Twitty.
Well, I just want to say, in case, Jeff, if you're watching, I may or may not have supplied Lisa with a website that has lots of excellent squirrel material. Maybe did, maybe didn't.
Poor Jeff, really.
Jeff's cool. I
Yeah,
like
we
him a
like to
lot.
tease him. Well, that's why it's George and Gracie, because yeah, we like to tease George, right?
So you're doing something really interesting. You're coming down here, coming to Amelia Island. I forget that not everybody knows us, um, or knows us. Coming to Amelia Island to do this workshop for, um, we said indie authors, but really any authors, because if you have a traditional publisher, you're still going to have to do your own marketing.
Right,
You know, I hate to break anybody's bubble, but
right.
it's Big Blue Meanie Day. Um, so you're coming down here to do this workshop. You'll be teaching a limited number of people. We've kept the group size deliberately small.
Mhm.
Um, and you're not selling books while you're doing that. How's that work?
Well, you
I
know
think you
what?
do something really, really cool with that, and I'm so jealous that I never thought of it.
Oh, what on Amazon?
The meet and greets and the
Oh, yeah, you
and
have to bring your own book ahead, right?
yeah,
But that is so working out so much better. But I definitely am doing everywhere I go, meet and greets for a couple hours in the lobby at the hotel. But you know what? I was doing that before for other projects,
yeah,
not necessarily when books came out, but just in general, because don't forget my rule and my mantra and everything is revolved around you can be successful in anything if enough people know what you do. It was just another way to get people to know what I do. So like here, I pulled the list out of my contact, my database of everybody in within 60 miles of this hotel. And then I mailed them a postcard with the meet and greet on the front and the thing about buying the book on the back. So even if they don't want to go to the meet and greet, now they know I've got a new project out.
Well,
So it's another way to get people to know what I do.
I think it's fantastic. I think it's genius because one of the hassles that authors have when they go to book fairs and a variety of things is schlepping the darn books and shipping them
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
cost and it becomes a little bit overwhelming. It's sort of the cost of doing business sometimes, but um, Lisa says, "Hey, I've got a book. If you want it signed, bring it." How do I bring it? I go online and I order it and I have my own book and she's not had to carry a suitcase full of books with her. I mean, I'm
Well, and
so
I don't like how it treats the books when I do that. They don't look 100% like when you buy it yourself. By the time I've carried it a couple places, I'm not willing to sell that book because it's dog-eared or something, and I'm picky about if I'm going to give, not give, but if I'm going to sell an item, I want it to be top, the way it's supposed to be. So I
yeah.
don't want it to look dog-eared or rubbed or anything like that. So carrying them in my suitcase is not good for the book. So this has worked out so well though because I haven't had to invest in my previous self-published book forays. I was buying pallet loads of books and we were shipping them ourselves. And this has been such a breath of fresh air. I've actually already more than broke even on this project of what I've invested. And all of my investment has been in marketing things like this and the postage and things like that, rather than my stockpile of books. I haven't had to do that, and I this has been a very different and fabulous experience compared to yeah. I don't like having a stockpile of books.
No,
You know what I mean?
that
Yeah.
was a very difficult thing for me to deal with when my first one came out. They were hardcover, and we had to order some ridiculous. I mean, I think we had to order
Good.
10,000.
Oh, I didn't have to
Yeah.
do that,
Do you
but
know how
I was getting a
long?
thousand at a shot. But even that, 1,000 is unwieldy when you
Yeah,
and then yeah. So it's
10,000
this
was
is
incredibly depressing.
yeah, this is so much better now that you can just, and Amazon is doing the print on demand, and we've got the Kindle up there already. We've got the Audible already. Yeah, we should talk about the Audible.
Tell us about when you and Jeff did the Audible. I think that's great.
Oh, bless his heart, really.
And she's
Oh,
speaking to a newly minted Southerner now, Jeff, so be careful, bless his heart.
I should come with a warning sign, really, really,
I think
really.
we both should. People don't know that we refer to one another as Thelma and Louise, but anyway, Thelma, go ahead with
Okay.
talk to us
Now,
about Audible.
I have done my share of stuff, including I actually recorded my own story and I've done a lot of speaking actually all over the world. The UK and Ireland, and
Yeah.
I actually had my own radio show for about 8 months. So I've done a lot of stuff. So when Jeff first said, let's have you read the audio for the Audible, I thought, sure. But I didn't realize that it was more like a play at first, that I wasn't just going to be reading it because I can read, right? And he's like, "Oh no, you got to put some inflection." And I'm thinking, "No, you're kidding me." So it wasn't something I'd done before, and of course, I'm trying to. He's like a mentor and a coach to me. I'm trying to make him proud because we're in this together. We're a team here. Okay. So I was basically panicking bad. Right. All right. I was having all the problems. So it was funny. And then what happened was I sent him me reading chapter one, trying to gauge how he felt about my ability to do it. And he is a teacher guy. He's a certified teacher actually. He just didn't teach because it didn't earn enough money is why he's in sales. So he is a teacher. So when you mail him something, he sends you back like a suggestion of how it should be, or in this case, he sent me the audio of him reading chapter one. Well, once I heard him read it, I said to him, "Oh, no, you're gonna we're gonna have to do this together because he's got this deep Southern sexy voice, and all the people reading it, I mean, hearing it are going to want to hear his voice. There's just no way around it." So we divvied it up. So he's doing a lot of the narration, and I'm doing a lot of the women characters that way. I think he said it's like 60/40 or something like that. So, but anyway, when we went to record the Audible, um, I was panicking so bad. He said, "I'll be on Zoom on your phone in a headset, and then you can record it. They won't hear me or see me, only you will." And I'm, let's see, how do you put this? I'm not employable, so I'm definitely not really coachable. So so he'd come on the headset and he'd be like, and bless his heart, he was so patient. He'd be like, "Read the words on the page," because I skipped something, or "Say that again with this kind of reflection," or "Repeat it just like I'm saying it." He'd have all these feedback things to tell me. So after a while, since I'm not very coachable, I was like giving him a hand gesture in the Zoom.
Not you.
He was getting a finger and it wasn't this one. Right, right. But he was really patient about the whole thing. And luckily, he is so particular about how it turned out. He said, "We need to make this really good because once we have it in the can, we're going to live with this and we want people to really like this.
Yeah.
And we want it to be the best it possibly can." And I'm so glad he was like that because I think it really did turn out well. And he had to put up with a lot with me. There's no, yeah, at one point, I'll tell you the end point. At one point, I got so mad at him that I hung up on him and said some bad language.
Not you.
And and bless his heart, he texted me and said, "Let's regroup in an hour." And I sat there for the whole hour saying, "I am not getting back on that thing with him. He's gonna have to figure out another way to make this work. I am not doing that." And of course, at the end of the hour, I went back on the Zoom, and I don't know how he talked
Put
me
on your
back on
big
in.
girl panties and got it done.
He talked me back in off the cliff, and we got it done. And yeah, so I mean, as a coach and stuff and a mentor, I'm very, very fortunate that he's a patient man. Right. But I think it did come out really well because of his coaching. So I'm proud of the Audible. It's very good.